Now, if you're watching this, you're probably feeling very lost in your work and in editing, right? So this isn't like abnormal behavior, right? This is very normal. A lot of people get this where after a while of getting like all the success and all these W's and stacking up a bit of money on their work, at some point they just feel very lost. So when their client hands over the footage and they're looking at their software, they're looking blankly, they're like, oh, well, fuck, now I've got to edit, right? Now I've got to actually edit the video. And it's to the point where when you get paid, you don't even feel happy about it. It's just a neutral feeling, okay? It's just a neutral feeling, and it kills you because now you sort of look to answers. You start communicating with others more, right? You start communicating with others more, saying like, oh, why do I feel like this? Why do I feel like this? You start looking for answers and you stop looking at the work, right? You stop focusing on the work. So let me just write this down, right? So you go from like happy, right? When you get paid, right? When you get paid, you're happy. And now instead of this being good, this is now just neutral, right? Money to you now is just a neutral feeling. It's like it's just what is expected of your client, right? It's just it's just what's expected, right? So this is now boring. This is nothing exciting. So now when you do the work, right? Instead of it being a chance for you to finally do something creative, right? Let's just say this is like this is the Adobe, new project file. Open this here and open this here, and then you have your timeline and whatever, right? So this is just the Adobe screen. Usually it's a chance for excitement, right? This is a good thing. We can create something new here, but now again it's just neutral. When you land a new client, right? When you land a new client, like usually you're pretty excited, you're pretty happy because this means good money and this means new opportunities, new content, but now it's kind of just neutral, right? Or maybe you just don't like some of these things, right? Like this might not even be neutral. You might just be unhappy with the fact that, you just might be unhappy with the fact that you have to do work now. There's no excitement, right? And this is very normal, and I'm gonna explain to you why. So what I want you to do is imagine on your desk right now there was a button, right? And every single time you press this button, you get $5, right? You press $5, another $5, another $5, $15 richer by doing nothing, right? This is what happened to you at the beginning of your career. You got to do whatever the fuck. You got to learn, do something new, right? Create some videos, and sure, it could have been a bit of a learning curve, but you were getting the hang of it. And every single time you learned something new, every single time you felt like you've accomplished something from your editing, from learning Premiere, you felt a bit of accomplishment. So if anything, this wasn't even really work to you. This was just a reward, right? So doing the work was the reward. And then remember that $15 we just pressed 3 times, that's free money. We're getting free cash, right? We've got this new button. Every single time we press it, it's just $5, $5, $5. We just keep pressing it. But at some point, things start stepping up, right? We start charging even more money, right? We start editing even better videos, right? Even better videos for even bigger clients, right? Now, this is like your button, your $5 button turning into a $100 button, okay? This is new. This is exciting. Press, spam the shit out of this button. Stack up as much cash as we fucking can, right? Keep stacking. The excitement, the dopamine is going through our brains, right? And I'm sure you've heard me use this before, so let me get to the point. You're getting all this new excitement, but over time, it starts getting pretty boring, right? Someone else, the idea of getting like $1 that gets $100, per press seems pretty exciting, but to you, you don't really care. Like, do you ever just watch those Mr. Beast videos and then at some point they're like, oh, I need to go see my family and, I can't hold it in anymore. I'm too bored. I hate it here. And everyone's always like questioning, like, If that was me, I wouldn't go see my family. I'd get them more money. Like, I love my family, but that's 100 grand for every single week I stay there, or, you know, however it goes, right? Well, to them, 100K is nothing, right? To them, 100K is fucking nothing. Because the point is of these videos is, at first, sure, cool, money's good, right? $100, pressing the $100 is good, right? But over time, that pain of having no money, right? So let's just do a meter, right? Let's just do a quick meter of pain. So this is pain. So at first, your pain is through the roof when it comes to having no money, right? At first, nothing, right? You have absolutely nothing. So now, you press this button, right? You press this $100 button, and you keep doing it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. So now to the point where you have enough money, you don't really give a shit. Your pain is all the way down here, if not maybe like over here. In the same way that you've been editing these videos, you've been stacking up your money, right? The whole reason you got into this in the first place, you've been stacking up your money. You've gotten a bunch of clients. You've learned the editing. What now? Like, we could get bigger clients. We could get more money. We could try a new niche, but these aren't exciting enough, right? When we first got that button, when we first started editing, this was something new that came into our lives. This is something new that came into your life, for crying out loud. And when this came into your life, it was exciting, it was fun, it was new, and it would change your life. You just didn't realize it yet. But the point is, new stuff will always give you this dopamine hit, right? This dopamine of excitement. That's what novelty does, right? It gives you this dopamine that leads to excitement. Okay, so simple as, like, plainly put, if you don't feel excited about payments, it's because you've been paid enough. If you don't feel excited about making videos, it's because you've made enough videos. If you don't feel excited about getting clients, it's because you've already gotten clients before. You know how to do this. You know how to edit videos. You know how to get money. What the hell do I do now? You feel like you've conquered it, but you know, there's other editors out there, right? There's editors who've been doing this longer than me. There's editors who've been, you know, editing for more money than me. I charge like, you know, $200 per long form. But this guy gets paid like $1,000 per video. So how come he doesn't feel lost, but I do? This guy, he works for his dream client, but I don't, right? So no dream client. That's something we've realized. Maybe this is something that you should be chasing. But what if you don't have a dream client? What if you're solely just in this for the money and you would get $1,000 per video? Well, now, okay, let's just take a look at this first problem then, shall we? So let's just forget about this. This guy charges $1,000, he doesn't get lost. I charge $200, but I get lost. Why is that? Okay. I want to get into a bit of a story, right? Because the current solution for people nowadays is when they're charging $200 or so, when they've gotten their first couple of clients, when they've gotten their first video that lands like 50,000 views or whatever, they feel like they're at a point where they can start moving on. And the issue with this is that there's something called the Dunning-Kruger effect, right? And a lot of editors are prone to this, right? So, actually, I could probably just show it to you right now. Okay. Okay, so this is the image, right? So if I can just copy this image and put it here, right? Good. So when you start off editing, you don't know much. You don't really have a lot of confidence because you don't know what you're getting into, right? So this was you when you started, right? So this is start, right? And then you start getting clients and you start making more money, and then you start like editing more videos, and you get to the point where you feel like you're at a pretty good point, right? So you're charging maybe 200 or 500 or whatever your price is, right? Everyone's got their different pace of progress. But let's just say you charge 200 and you've gotten clients, you've edited a few videos, and you've made a bit of money. So now you're getting bored of all of that because you've already felt all of that and you need something new, right? You need some new excitement. So now you're at this peak of confidence, okay? But your knowledge isn't quite all there, but you think it is, right? Your confidence is what causes this. And a lot of people, I've seen this firsthand experience where people will get to this point, charge a bit of money, okay? Charge 200, which isn't bad, but it isn't the best. And they'll start thinking, okay, I'm going to start moving on to coaching, right? I'm going to teach YouTubers, right? I'm going to coach YouTubers on how to get views, right? Or I'm going to start creating a course for editors, okay? Or I'm going to start making content on how to edit, right? Now, cool. I get this. This is supposed to help relieve your pain of not finding editing exciting anymore. I get that, right? However, the issue with this is that the second you start jumping into this, you will start to realize over time that you actually don't know a lot, right? You don't know as much as you do, okay? Which causes this sort of drop in confidence. You start to realize that, okay, there's actually a lot more to learn out there. I don't really know it all, right? So you can have all the books in the world. You can watch all my videos. You can go on any course. I can guarantee you, as much as those help, nothing beats paid knowledge and online information quite like experience. You've gone through a bit, but you haven't quite gone through enough to understand that you're actually down here, right? If you feel lost and you feel like you want to start moving on to other things like this means you're at the peak of your ignorance, right? You're super confident, but you don't know that much. You're super confident and you think you know a lot, but you don't actually know that much, right? And then as soon as you start making that jump and people are like, okay, so let's say, for example, you take on coaching or something, or you teach YouTubers, or you make a course, and then someone's like, okay, so how do you do this? And you're like, oh, well, I don't know. I've never actually did that before. That's a good point. So another person will say, oh, how'd you do this? Oh, well, I don't know. I think you do this. There should be a tutorial on it. And then over time, people start realizing this guy's not as good as he thinks. Like, this guy's not really that good, is he? And then you start realizing it. Like, oh, okay, you're right. You're right. I actually don't know. I actually don't know a lot about editing, right? I thought I did because I landed a few clients, right? This is the humble point where you are now cultured, right? You don't know a lot, so knowledge is kind of out the window, right? And your confidence has been shattered as soon as you realized that there's a lot more to learn out there than what you already know, right? So also confidence, right? No. So you have neither, right? But this is good. This is good because eventually down the line at some point, you'll get to the point of an actual expert, but we'll get into that later. So right now, we've established that as soon as you get to your peak, you need to make sure that you don't make any rash decisions like moving on, right? Because a lot of people think that the solution to solving their pain of, okay, I've landed a few clients, made a bit of money, and edited a few videos. I think I can move on to coaching people shit. That's not how it works, right? This isn't binary. This is genuinely other editors who would be looking up to you, or other creators relying on your information, right? This is heavy, because now you are actually responsible for the progress of other people, right? And you'd be taking their money for it. Okay? So a bit of experience won't account for that. If you feel like you're bored of your current situation, or you feel like there's no excitement, or you feel lost, okay, it's because you've done this. So then instead, what do we actually do? Now, let me tell you my story, right? So I'm going to actually go to my Twitter. So around the time of a few years ago, around late 2022, I started getting a bit, I don't know how to describe this, a bit bored, right? A bit bored of editing. So my first tweet, it says it's May 1st, but I had a bunch of tweets before this that I just completely deleted and stayed off Twitter for a bit. So you'll see I posted some work. So May 21st, and then July, and then, you know, way after July. So July, August, September, and then October. So 3 months after, I posted another post. And then I got to this post. And when this post didn't do as well as I thought, I genuinely thought that this would get like 200 likes. This was me being in a phase of like, I'm chasing attention now because I don't really know what to do. Okay. At this point, my closest friends were in the scene. They were blowing up from their editing style. So my purpose at this point was to create an editing style that I thought people would want to copy. And this is the sort of level of work that I was coming up with. And when I didn't get the feedback that I thought I did, that's when I hit a new low. That's when I thought, okay, what am I actually doing now? Because I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. What the hell do I do now, right? At this point, this was like $200 for an intro, right? I'd get paid $200 to edit this intro. And I was sort of just bored, right? I posted the show reel because, again, I was bored. I wanted to venture into bigger things. So I just made a personal project, right? This show reel. And then this video was my turning point, because towards the end of 2022, I was getting very, very bored and I had no idea what to do. And this is when I was hit up from people like Tribe. The post is deleted, right? But people from this Tribe Gaming, right? They'd hit me up at, I think, November or December 2022. They said, hey, are you open for commissions, right? I was like, yeah, I guess. I just went through the whole sort of usual, like, yeah, I'm open for commissions. Although at the time, like, I was just thinking of giving up on editing. Like, I was bored of it. I was always so exhausted. My money kept running out because I would spend it all immediately. I felt like that I wasn't really going anywhere with it. So I was just like, yeah, why not? One last video and I'll go, right? And then these guys are like, cool. Our budget is $1,000. I hope you don't mind. So we can't really pay you anything more than that. And at this point, my highest paying video was, I think this one for 300 pounds actually. So this was like, I think, if we just 300 GBP to USD. So yeah, this was like $400, right? So at this point, my highest paying video was $400. And these guys were like, we have $1,000 right here. We can't really pay you anything more than that, right? And I was like, yeah, fucking, I'll take it, right? I'll take it. So they gave me the video, and it was this huge video, right? Nowadays, to me, it doesn't seem very huge, but back then it was very big. It was like 5 or 6 POVs and like 3 hours of footage, I believe, from all people, and face cams and everything. And I think I've got the video somewhere here, right? So if I go to this one, in most insane COD mobile comeback ever. So don't bother looking at the video because I don't want to get into it, just to avoid saying anything slanderous. But this wasn't really my editing, right? I edited the video, and the general basis of the editing was mine. So like some parts they kept in. Like these were mine. This is mine. Now, the general basis of the video is mine, but like some of the VFX was changed. Anyways, they gave me this video to make, right? Pretty big video at the time. It only resulted in like 8 minutes, but this was like hours upon hours of footage that I had to go through. And they gave me like a month to edit it. I went through like 450 revisions, so it was relatively big video. And I remember when I got this video, I was like, this is pretty big, right? There's actually a lot of potential here. And I kind of did get a bit excited. I was like, yeah, I guess I could create something here. But I knew that I've been through this pattern before where I'd be like, yeah, I guess there's something here to work with, and I guess I can get pretty excited, but that's just the sort of like initial reaction that I would hype myself up for. But you know, down the line, just during the edit, I'd always be like, you know what, I'm not really happy about this. It's just the same stuff, right? So what I would do is I would use the set amounts of presets that I found or ones that I created, and I used Sapphire, BCC, and that Red Giant plugin, right? I always use those, and I spammed those, and I relied on those, and I never did anything no plugin, because in my eyes, the vanilla effects in Premiere were just not as good, right? And at this point, I just remember how bored I was and how frustrated I was with my computer, because my computer was always so slow. So this time I was just like, do you know what? My biggest video ever. I'm gonna quit editing anyways, right? In my mind, I was like, I'm gonna quit editing anyways. I'm gonna do this last video for some money. I might as well just say fuck it, we ball, and just create something completely new. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to use a single preset. I'm not going to use a single plugin. I'm going to create any preset that comes out of this, right? Is going to be a preset that I create in that video. I'm going to use nothing but the vanilla Premiere effects, right? And I used a bit of After Effects, so so stuff like these texts I created in the time as well. This little image effect I created during the video as well. And I've never had so much fun ever in my entire career. And here's why. You'll probably hear of this term called gamification, right? So gamification is essentially when you get bored or you're a little lost, and people usually say, yeah, just gamification, bro. Just use gamification, like, and you'll be all good, right? But gamification doesn't solve anything, because when you're bored, right? When you're in the midst of editing a video, right? This is direct boredom, right? This is a direct pain coming onto you. Gamification is indirect. Gamification is the process of your brain saying, make this fun, right? Is your brain consciously telling yourself, yeah, just make it fun, right? Which it can't do. The whole point of trying to solve this problem, trying to solve this pain, is that it's fun on its own. Your brain can't tell you to make something fun. You can't just gamify it and say, yeah, I'm gonna make this fun, right? It has to be fun. So what can we do, right? If you can't get yourself to do it, then you're going to have to force yourself into a position where you can make it fun. And in this case, I went for something that actually finally challenged me, right? I went for a challenge. In this case, no presets, no plugins, just raw dog this video without any knowledge, any prior knowledge of effects whatsoever, right? I decided to challenge myself. And this challenge actually started stimulating me, right? this challenge came as a surprise because I was like, okay, this is actually fucking difficult, right? And not difficult in a way of, oh, you know what, I'll just use one preset, I'll just use one plugin. I was at such a low point, right? I was at such a low-pitted emotional point where I was like, I just don't want to do editing ever again. And it's not like there's any redemption for me. It's almost like it's kind of like just being editor suicidal. Like, you just don't want to do the job anymore, right? And it's in the same way that people who do office jobs get bored of their office jobs because they do the same shit all the time, right? The reason why, like, there's such high suicide rates with people who work in offices is because just their job is so boring and they do the same stuff all the time. The same way that nearly 40% of marriages end in divorce is because there's nothing fun, there's nothing new, there's nothing to challenge, nothing to spice that relationship, right? If you just, as humans are wired, if we do the same stuff over again, we're gonna get bored, and that's gonna lead us to pretty dark places, right? So, simply put, you can't tell your brain to make it fun. You have to put yourself in the position where you'll have fun. And the best way you can do this is challenge, because realistically, doing a job, doing a chore, doing a service isn't going to be directly fun. Like, unless you just have some unreal passion for editing, you probably wouldn't even be in this position in the first place. So I put myself in a position of challenge. And you know what? I challenge all of you to do the exact same thing. You've made money, sure. You could make more. You've already edited videos before. But you've edited all those videos in the same way. Let's edit it differently this time. No plugins. No presets. No Mr. Horse. No extensions. No macros. I'm talking like, if I gave you a laptop, could you open it without anything, just downloading Premiere? Could you edit the video there and then? This happened to me in uni. I mean, in sixth form, right? I was bragging to everyone. I went to a kind of like a film school, between the ages of 16 and 18, right? It was a media school actually, and I was bragging to everyone because I thought I'd have competition there, and turns out I didn't have any competition. Nobody really knew much about media. No one really knew much about editing. So I went bragging. I was like, yeah, I'm an editor. I get like $150 per video. I work with this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. You know, you probably watched them before. And then someone was like, that's so cool. That is so cool. So can you show me? And I was like, yeah, I'll just get my portfolio out right now. And then he's like, no. Show me. I'm like, okay. And he turns on this computer next to me, and he's like, I think we have Premiere here. Can you show me some stuff? Because I really want to learn editing. You know, I think you could show me a few things. And I'm like, oh yeah, I can show you, but I have to do it tomorrow because, you know, I don't have my presets. And he kind of blankly looks at me. He's like, what do you mean? Like, do you need something to edit? Do you need like a key or whatever? It's like, I'm like, no. Basically, the way that my edits look good is because I get these presets and they have like these already made animations for me. And also those presets, I need to use plugins. And he's like, what do you mean you need to use them? Like, and what do you mean already made animations? And I'm like, okay, so basically I have to use these plugins in order to get good animations. And if I use presets, then they're presets made from other editors who could make me even better. And when I said that to him, he kind of just looks at me like, okay, I see. And then it kind of hits me at the same time where I'm like, okay, I just admitted to this guy that none of my work is really mine because I just use presets, right? Nothing wrong with like using presets, but if you're at a point where you can't edit a video unless you have to use plugins, unless you have to use presets, unless you have to have everything in your system, you're not an editor. And I want you to reflect on yourself right now, okay? Because I'm going to tell you this. If you're one of those people who has to have everything their way, if you have to have your shortcuts, if you have to have your macros, if you have to have your websites, right, your epidemic sounds, and you need to have your fire cuts and shit, if you have to have your presets, if you have to have your plugins, if you have to have your extensions, your Mr. Horse, your everything, right, if you have to have all these tools, you're not an editor to me. If you approach Premiere completely raw, nothing, like a completely fresh, new vanilla Premiere. And you can edit a video, and you can edit to quality, and you can enjoy yourself, and you can create something new. You are an editor. Like, you are an editor to me. If you cannot do that, you are not an editor. You are not an artist. You are not an editor. You are not a creative. You are just simply some bum that does the work, right? That's some bum that does work for a service. Okay? You, in my eyes, you can give me no value. If you enter my DM saying, hey, I can coach you. No, you can't. If you must have these things, if you must have these tools to perform the work, you're not an editor. So tell me, you've edited videos before, but have you ever done it without any tools whatsoever? Any tools whatsoever, right? I'm going to say that you haven't. I'm going to be on the safe side and say that you haven't. And if you have, if it's the complete opposite on a completely hypothetical situation, if you don't have any tools and you get bored of that, then just get fucking tools. It's not that hard, right? If I have one toy as a kid and I play with that toy all the time, at some point I'm going to want another toy, right? Natural. But in this case, you have all the toys. Giving you more toys isn't going to help, right? So let's say I challenged you. Let's say I took all your toys away. What are you going to do now? Well, it's up to your imagination, right? You're going to have to do whatever you can to survive. So I'm going to take away all your luxuries. How about this? Now you're up here. You think that doing YouTube... No YouTube. No course. No creating content. Tell me, can you get to $1,000 per video, right? Per video without plugins? Because I may not have started editing without plugins, but I got to $1,000 per video and above without plugins. I have literally edited a video before where I've been paid like $2.5, maybe over $2,000 for a 10-minute video. I'm not shitting you. Like a 10, 15, 20-minute video. No images, no PNGs, no plugins. Just straight up raw After Effects, raw Premiere, and done it that way. Let me ask you, have you done the same? Because if you're at a point where you feel bored, where you feel like you've done everything, I can tell you now that you have not. If you feel like you've completed everything, it's because you are in your ignorant stage. Believe me, there's more for you to complete than just what you've done so far. You could 5x your income. You could drop all the tools you have. You could put yourself in the lion's den and try and learn how to edit videos, how to scale without this stuff. You could try and get a new client in a whole new niche. You could try new methods of payment. And I did that recently. You know what? I've actually been experimenting something recently. Bear in mind, I'm not condoning you do this. I do not recommend this. This is dangerous and could get you into a lot of conflict with your clients. And with your current situation, your clients probably don't have the money to fall for this. And I'll explain what I mean. So usually I'll tell people to get paid per video, right? So per video, and preferably if you can upfront, right? Because at your stage, you're going to need as much protection as you can. But as you start to get more and more expensive clients, they start to give it less of a shit about money, because just like you, they've gotten money. They don't really care for that. They're not chasing money. So at my point, when I'm working with clients, they don't really give two shits about money. So what I've been doing recently is I've decided to challenge myself yet again, because I've been getting bored of editing. I challenged myself to edit the video. So get a client, agree to edit their video, and then give them my price after I've edited the video. So instead of get the client, get the price, and then edit the video, right? I got the client, edited the video, handed it over, and then demanded a price. And then I got paid, right? This is yet to fail, and it's probably a stupid thing. Do not do this, because I can guarantee you right now your clients will not be obliging to this, right? Clients differ, okay? Especially at different price points, they differ, okay? But this is just an example of how I challenged myself as soon as things started getting boring. So for me right now, another thing that I did a few months ago was I started getting bored of the whole no plugin thing. So I started using Element 3D a bit more. I've been exploring that more. I've been getting Deep Glow again. I've been exploring. I've been buying new plugins, right? Okay. Yeah. Simply put, you just need a bit of excitement in your life. You just need a bit of excitement, because let's think about it. You edit for like 10 hours a day, right? You edit for 10 hours a day plus. If that, maybe like 5 to be on the safe side. And if you're not, then what the fuck are you doing, right? Either way, you're editing for a while a day. This is now a big part of your day. This is a big part of your life. So if you're not getting any excitement from it, like tiny bits of excitement, yeah, they're cool, but they're not sustainable, right? Meeting a new person, meeting a new editor, that's not enough to sustain excitement, to sustain your happiness, to sustain your dopamine levels, right? But something like challenging yourself, okay? You charge $200, try and land your first $500 client, okay? Because now you're going from a problem, right? Problems, one thing you need to know about problems is that you will always have a problem. It just depends on what kind of problem you have. So you'll be going from a problem of, I'm too bored and I don't know what to do, to, I don't know how to land this $500 client, which is a good fucking problem to have. Some people can't even land their first $50 client, let alone $500, right? Put yourself into a position where you're going to need challenge. Because if you try to go for the whole gamification route, okay, this bullshit gamification, you're simply getting your brain to tell you, oh, please be fun. You can't tell someone to be fun. They're just fun, right? It's like going to a comedy show and the stand-up comedian going, okay, laugh at my joke now, guys. I'm not fucking having fun if you're telling me. Make me laugh. Put me in a position where I can laugh, right? This isn't, gamification is bullshit. That's just not how it works, right? This is, we don't listen to this bullshit, right? Seek challenge. Seek something new, right? In life, okay? In life, there's this pyramid. I don't know quite how it goes, but I saw this somewhere. Someone showed it to me. So, at first, we just need survival. We just need to take care of ourselves. We just need to get a bit of money, a bit of food, a bit of shelter, whatever. And then we start seeking happiness or you know, excitement. So this is when you start. So, and then there's a bunch of like other stuff I'm not really going to get into. But the point is like, you've got an editing. You've got yourself a job that pays, right? So therefore, you can pay for your food, you can pay for your water, you can pay for your clothes, you can help your parents if need be, right? You've survived. You're not gonna keep surviving, are you? Right? You're not gonna continue surviving. Well, now you're in a position where you can put yourself in luxury of happiness, right? So now we have to chase that. But we can't chase that by continuing to survive, right? The best thing we could do is challenge ourselves, right? Because let's be real, let's be dead serious. You can't expect editing to be fun where you're at a point of boredom, right? The best form of excitement apart from happiness is challenge. Challenge stimulates us. Challenge drives us. Okay? Seek challenge. Tell me. Please tell me. I'm sure there's editors out there. I'm sure I'm not the only one, right? Because I'm not the greatest editor in the world. But tell me, have you gotten to $1,000 per video without using any plugins? No? Well, then you've got more to look forward to. Have you ever edited a video without plugins? Have you edited a video just completely new, right? Have you ever edited a video on a plane? Have you ever edited a video on a train? Have you edited a video outside? No? Go do it. There's so much more. Okay, if you're bored, believe me, you are not fucking bored. You've just done the bare minimum of editing. You've done the bare minimum and you think that you've completed it all. So if you ever see somebody who's done the bare minimum and they start doing this, don't listen to them, okay? They know fucking nothing. You are just at the very, very peak, okay? I know editors like this, they have this problem all the time. Okay, you simply just need to challenge yourself. Okay, this will happen over time. You'll become cultured over time. Okay, the second you start challenging yourself is the second that all this boredom and all this feeling lost in editing and falling out of love with editing will be solved. You'll finally start to find a drive again, because the original drive, right? The best drive someone can have is when you're at the very, very beginning, the learning stage, right? When you feel like you're finally finding purpose in something, okay, like you did when you started editing, you finally found purpose, okay? So challenging yourself is going to give you that exact same experience. It gives you a drive, okay? This will happen over time, right? This is just an example to show you where you are now. Over time, you'll become cultured because you'll realize that there's a lot more editors out there who know more than you, who are more successful than you, and you'll realize that you actually are a small fish in a small pond, right? And then you'll get to here, and then at some point down the line in a few years, you'll get to here, right? You're just here right now, and you think that you're bored, you think that you completed it all, but no, you're ignorant, right? Believe me, you're just ignorant. That's essentially it, okay? That's all.